coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It doesn't get much bigger than this. BYU and Texas Tech, your home for the best coverage of Cougar football, is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is your Ute Preview Show as we get you ready for a bye week for Utah. All right, Frank, if you're Kyle Whittingham, how are you addressing this bye week? How is this one different than maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago?
Well, 3 or 4 weeks ago, it was like we have a lot of stuff to figure out, and that was going to be a hard week. I still think it should be a hard week, but now the week is we can make some tweaks, we can make some minor adjustments, and keep this momentum rolling. I think that's what the week will be like. Not like everything we thought about ourselves may not be true.
What do you think Kyle is telling the team right now about what's in front of them, where they're ranked?
Yeah, the whole thing.
Like, how's he?
Tell them the whole story.
Is he giving them the story, or is he just focusing on Baylor? And how would Kyle handle this?
I think the way that he's handling it is that laying out what it looks like, what the path looks like ahead of them. Like, we can accomplish all of our goals. And to accomplish all our goals, we have to do this and this and this and this. And all of those things happen 1 week at a time. You have to win each week. And so it's going to be, my sense is that it's going to be, this is what we can do over, big picture. This is what we can accomplish. Here's what we have ahead of us. This is where we can find ourselves at the end of the season. But none of that matters if we don't take care of each and every week with supreme effort and focus and work. All of the words.
How do you feel?
Desire, determination.
How do you think Kyle Whittingham is feeling about Jason Beck right now? The numbers are insane. Number 5 total offense. Sorry, number 11 in total offense. You can go down. Their offensive numbers are incredible. Top 5 in rushing. Their offensive numbers are insane.
I don't know. When do you ever see Utah on top of an offensive list?
Never.
Okay.
Probably 04.
Never.
That was about it.
It was like when, yeah, right. It was like when a couple weeks ago, I think they were playing Colorado. Utah is coming off the field. Coach Whittingham gets the run off the field interview, and he says a few nice things about the offense. The question is about the defense, and he said something like, they have 3 points on the board. That should tell you what's happening on the defensive side. Like, I mean, that's pretty good.
It's usually pretty good.
That's pretty darn good. I think what Coach Whittingham is feeling about the offense is he would say the same thing as he said in that halftime interview regarding Beck. He would say, "We're leading the conference."
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, in many categories. And there's always 2 numbers that I look at offensively. What do you do on third down? And what do you do in the red zone? Mm-hmm. Their third downs are incredible.
Third down is good.
Converting on 54%.
Uh-huh.
And the red zone is incredible. Touchdowns on 81% of their red zone possessions.
That, to me, that's a ridiculous number.
It's a ridiculous number.
Ridiculous.
They're in
and you wonder why we have.
They're in the top 10 in sacks allowed.
Confidence issues around you, Frank.
Top 20 in TFL allowed. They're the number 11 in scoring offense, scoring 38.9. Did that bump up? That might have bumped up.
How do you feel about time of possession?
Scoring 39.6 points.
Where is Utah at in time of possession?
Utah is.
I got to imagine it's high.
Time of possession, Utah is number 2 in the conference, second to Arizona State.
Number 15 in the country.
At what, 33?
32.32. 32:32.
That means you're running the ball well.
Mm-hmm.
You're converting third downs. Like, that is a signal that you have a very healthy offense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's some OCs out there that are running run and shoot, that they don't care about it. Like, hey, as long as we're scoring touchdowns, it doesn't matter. But you get to a guy like Kyle Whittingham, Morgan Scalley, Bronco Mendenhall, Kalani Sitake, that stuff matters to those defensive coaches, because the longer you take to score means the more time I have with my defense over here on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look at the teams in front of them. The teams in front of them are Alabama, Georgia, Air Force, Army, Indiana. These are the teams in front of them. You know, those are all powerhouse teams.
You know the service academies are always going to be there.
Right. They're going to hold the ball.
Yeah.
But, you know, you got some big teams that are just in front of them. But Utah, number 15 in the country.
You're not going to see Nevada at 1-7 be at 32 minutes of time of possession.
I just don't feel like anybody can pin it or have negative feelings towards Jason Beck in his first year. I think that this has been a raging success to this point. I know you only put up 10 against Texas Tech, and you were -2. Mm-hmm. You've had a couple of turnover issues, but I feel like when the scheme is executed, the scheme is working. And you think about all the different things he's come up with, from using Barton for blocking and a little bit of possession, to using Snowden at the beginning parts of the season, to then transitioning it to Daniel Bray and getting Ryan Davis so involved in the passing game, to then elevating Wayshawn Parker and seeing Wayshawn come along, to the staple of Devon Dampier, and then also being able to get a win when Devon Dampier was off the field, and bringing in Ficklin against Colorado and putting up 53 points. So it's like you've had to replace a quarterback for a game. You've had to change offensive personnel because you're not seeing those defensive players play the minutes that you saw them in the first 4 or 5 games.
That's right. I
think Jason was kind of told, hey, look, we're gonna play Smith where the NFL is going to want him. We're going to play Barton where the NFL is going to want him, even though I still see Barton in some of the blocking schemes. But he's having to evolve with his personnel.
Yeah. No, I
give him an A.
Oh yeah,
I think he's done
95%.
I think he's done an amazing job.
Well, and honestly too, how much do you put turnovers on a coordinator? Like, you know, when Dampier puts the ball on a turf on a hit from behind, I mean, you can't really.
I just can't.
Now that interception, that's a bad interception that he threw into the end zone.
Yeah. Do you think Coach Beck is saying to Dampier during the week, hey, look, if nothing's there, just take a shot in the end zone. Throw into coverage. I don't care.
We're going to forego the 3 points.
Yeah.
We're not worried about the field goal.
Yeah.
Just chuck it.
Hey, just take a shot.
Hey, look. We got a 50-50 chance something good might happen.
Yes. Yeah. No, I don't think that's right. If I look at this Utah football team on the defensive side, I don't know. Do you have any concern about they fit like kind of right in the middle in terms of rush defense? And that's always been a stalwart of Utah defensively. They're number 2 in the conference in pass defense, but they're number 7 in the conference in rush defense, almost 150 yards a game.
That's lower than they've been in a long time.
Yeah. So
one thing I've noticed.
That's a nitpicky thing, I think, but I've seen some chunk plays on the defensive side in the run game, maybe losing some contain here and there. I think that seems like that's where the most of the explosive plays or damaging plays have come out of that run game. They're giving up about 4 yards per carry average. So I would say if there's somewhere to improve on the defensive side, maybe you could bump that up a little bit. Rush defense. But the other thing is their third down conversion defense is really good, second in the conference.
Yep.
I think they're like 31.5%. That's really good. So, I mean, I think it's a football team that's playing pretty well right now and has all of their goals set out right in front of them.
I also feel like, for some reason, some of the rushing stats are padded. Like, how did West Virginia rush for 261 yards? They got 14 points. They rushed for 261 yards. Were they just trying to burn the clock in the fourth quarter? And so they're just handing the ball off? I don't know.
Maybe. Well, and Cincinnati, do you know how many yards Cincinnati ran for? 221 yards.
Yeah.
That's not a great defensive effort against the run.
So if you're Kyle Whittingham, it's like that same thing you mentioned in that halftime interview. They're like, hey, Kyle, you gave up 220 yards to Cincinnati. What's going on? He's like, well, did you see the scoreboard?
Yeah, they scored 14 points.
They scored 14 points.
That's pretty good.
You see what West Virginia did? That was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
And so it's like, don't tell me about the labor, just show me the baby. And right now, the proof's in the pudding in terms of the wins, losses, and the scores that are being produced.
Do you have any more of those? I mean, you used 2 in that one.
You like that?
Yeah.
That was my old boss, our old boss, Randy Rogers. That was his.
He could.
He goes, somebody be going there. He's like telling them all about their days. Like, yeah, don't tell me about the labor. Just show me the baby.
Randy was great.
Yeah.
Shout out to Randy. We love you, bud.
And he had a couple others that I cannot say on the air. But
Arizona State had 150 yards on them.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if there's anything you could maybe focus on, but you also look at what their defense was more worried about and where they were trying to emphasize their defense. Now, moving forward, if BYU had BYU had 202 yards rushing on them. Moving forward, if it becomes an issue and Baylor, who's a passing team, goes for 185 on you, Kansas State puts up 185, 220 on you, then you start to look at it like, geez, are we just deficient in our run stop ability? But where you've got the win-loss record you've got right now.
And Cincinnati's a passing team, like 11 of 33. 11 of 33.
Busted them up.
Yeah.
If you did that to Cincinnati, should be able to do that to Baylor.
Sure. I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Davis has been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think Snowden has been fantastic. And this is a defensive backfield that had some losses too. You lose Richie, you lose a couple of guys out of that defensive backfield that started to sting a little bit.
Any surprises on the defensive side? Is Benny a surprise on the defensive side?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you just didn't know much about him.
Yeah, you just had no clue. I think he's been great.
Big time.
Both sides.
Well, I think when you talk about the story of the 2025 University of Utah football team, you can't tell it without Jack Benny. Like he has been absolutely phenomenal for the development of this team and who they are right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we knew the other characters that were going to have a big role on this team. I don't think we talked a lot about Jack Benny.
We didn't talk hardly at all about Jackson Benny. We talked a lot about John Henry Daly, but he didn't have any production or any proof. He just had, what we looked at as projection. So we talked a lot about John Henry Daly. One guy that's proven a lot to me is Jonah Laia, who has played really well over the last few games. So he's come along, and where you lose Dallas Vakalehi for a period of time, Jonah Laia has come in and done some good things. So that's been a nice surprise. Cash Dillon continues to get rotation, and Lance Holtzclaw continues to get rotation. And both of those guys are putting up some good production here down the stretch. So I would say there's a lot of guys that have stepped up and surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
None more than Jackson Benny.
No.
He's been a beautiful exclamation mark and revelation for this Utah team.
How do you feel about Fano at this point?
Logan Fano?
Yep.
I feel pretty darn good about him. Everybody's chipping. Everybody's focusing.
Yeah.
Your tight ends aren't releasing before they put a hand on him.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's significant
and I think
attention.
John Henry Daly is a recipient
for sure
of some of that opposite of attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I knew Logan Fano was going to draw a lot of attention. That's why part of my projections on John Henry Daly was, okay, well, you've got Vakalehi, you've got Viamahi, You've got these great guys that are going to force the interior. You've got a fantastic bookend that's going to, at the very least, draw attention and hold his position. Now you just got to have the Hunter Dimmick on the opposite end of, the mayor of Sac Lake City.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I look at Logan. I think he's drawing a lot of attention. Still getting his production.
What was Hunter Dimmick's best move at the line of scrimmage? I have one in
Push
mind.
pull.
Push pull.
Push pull. What did you have? Slap rip?
I had the one where
he had that really nice club rip.
Where he, with both hands, smashed the
arms down?
The arms down of the, yeah.
Two-hand chop.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. The two-hand chop. Mm-hmm. I was like amazed every time he did that.
Yeah. His two-hand chop, he had for who he was, he had a really good repertoire of pass rushes. But my favorite was his push-pull because he'd get right into the chest and just rip chest hair off, pulling you out of your shoes and getting by an offensive tackle. He was a beautiful pass rusher. I actually, there's some comparisons between him and John Henry Daly.
I could see that, yeah.
Hey, and guess what? They've got the same defensive end coach.
That might have something to do with it, too.
I don't know how Lewis Powell isn't a D coordinator making $1.2 million. This guy has grown up in Kyle Whittingham's defensive scheme. He's done everything. He's Mr. Do-It-All for Morgan Scalley.
Well,
all he's done is raised and grown multiple top 10 pass rushers in the country.
Well, I mean, I think you're just spelling it out. Isn't he not the DC in waiting?
I know, that's the thing. We talk about Morgan being impatient, waiting for Kyle to shut it down.
Yeah.
Lewis Powell's got to be like, because I think we all agree he would be the DC with Morgan, right?
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I mean,
there's a few guys on that staff.
We're all just speculating, but
I mean, you have Luther Ellis on that staff. You have Sharif Shaw on that staff.
It could be Colton Swan would be the one.
Colton Swan on that staff.
But my go-to is Lewis Powell.
Yeah.
My number one is Lewis Powell because I go and talk to Sharif. I'm like, okay, interview for it. How bad do you want it? Because you're going to become a spotlight. Or do you just want to do your corner thing, or where do you want to be? Because Sharif, with his motivational speaking and his energy, I'd love him if he'd take it. I just think that Sharif likes being
I do too.
Kind of back behind the scenes a bit.
Let's put Coach Whittingham and Sharif Shaw in the cage. Who comes out?
Currently, not in their primes.
Currently, they're both well over 50. I mean, so currently,
I'm gonna go Reef.
Sharif Shaw in his playing days. I'm not exaggerating this. There was nobody who, pound for pound, could lift more weight in a squat or a press or a bench or a clean. Like, it was unbelievable, extraordinary, the amount of weight he could move around. And he still looks like he could do that.
I think it would go rounds and rounds, because neither would die, neither would quit.
You think it would be
and I think eventually Kyle will gas out because of his age. And Reef will have just a little bit more juice.
But Sharif will come out missing an ear and a finger.
Yeah.
It's a death match. Like someone's.
But I love Reef. But if I'm Morgan, my first interview, my leader in the clubhouse is Lewis Powell.
Yeah.
The guy has produced more defensive talent than, well, geez. I mean, you got draft picks all over the defense, but I just feel like Lewis Powell's been.
How would you rank? Okay.
And he's extremely loyal.
Where would your betting line be? Like, who would you rank in terms of on staff? Like, Utah doesn't have to go out.
Lewis Powell would be 2-1.
Okay, so you don't have to go out anywhere.
I would put Colton Swan next on the list at 5-1, and then probably Sharif Shaw 8-1.
Yeah, I would say that's 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah,
and then we'd go Ellis number 4.
Yeah, I just don't know how much Ellis in terms of play calling in a game. I don't know what the experience would be there.
But I think you're right. I think Lewis is probably waiting just as anxiously as Morgan. But, those guys have had the tremendous luxury.
Oh, man. I know where you're going.
Of Kyle Whittingham's protection.
Yeah, Morgan hasn't had to go anywhere. It's insane.
Insane.
Those guys have made a nice living.
What are you doing to me?
Insane.
I'm not going to talk anymore.
In the membrane. Insane in the
I don't know what I did.
It's just, you know what?
I honestly don't know what I did.
I tried to be. I have not taken one shot at you today.
Wait,
not one.
I
felt like it's been a pleasant exchange between the two of you.
I don't know what I did. Please tell me what I did.
Yeah.
You looked right at him and you mocked.
Insane. Ridiculous.
Insane.
Wait, that wasn't
Absolutely
mocking. That was
insane.
that wasn't mocking.
Yeah.
Listen.
No, it's
maybe we could talk about your insecurities off camera.
Hey, speaking about camera, dude, we've got a lot of bald going on here. If we're gonna do this on camera from now on, we'll dim the lights and I'm gonna wear a hat. In fact, I'm gonna go dim the lights.
There you go. Oh, see.
Look what you did, Frank.
Yeah.
All insecure.
What did I
okay,
do?
not that dark. No,
Well,
can't see anything.
I didn't.
I think that's better for everybody.
I
it's
have
not.
no idea
Turn it
what
up.
is happening here.
No, let's see what this looks like here.
Yeah, because I think
it's
that's
dark.
Yeah, that's going to be helpful from here on out.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
This is helping the camera.
Helping all of us.
Frank's looking more like that AI picture.
I watched our YouTube viewers go from 75 to 4. And I'm like, what's the problem here?
All right, Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, 2:30. Coming up, we'll continue to wrap our arms around the Utes. Get ready for what should be a fun one. Utah, as they come out of the bye week with 3 games to go to try to get themselves into a Big 12 championship game. It's right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
It's a much-needed bye week for the Utes as they get set for the final stretch of the 25 season. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Your Ute Preview Show. Utes are on a bye. That's all right. They'll be back at it coming up in a week. This is an interesting time for Kyle Whittingham and his Utes because, yeah, they've lost to Texas Tech. Yes, they've lost to BYU, but still very much in the thick of things when it comes to the Big 12 and the college football playoff. Number one, you need to run the table. Number two, you got a little help along the way, but the Big 12 championship game still very much in play. But all of that goes away, Frank, with one loss. It all gets thrown down the tubes, flushed away, if you will.
That's a thin margin of error.
Yeah, so you got to go 3-0. Do you talk about going 3-0, or do you just take it one game at a time?
No, it's week to week. It doesn't, because if you don't get week 1 done, then nothing else matters. It's a week to week, and that's when Coach Whittingham is the best. Like circle the wagons. It's week to week. You have to win the week, and that's, I think, the message. If you don't win the week, then nothing else matters.
Yeah.
And then you have to come up for your next motivational thing. But yeah, you have to win every week. And fortunately for Utah, this is a schedule that is winnable. If they can stay on track, if they continue to do the things that they've done. I still think that passing game liability is something to think about. So can you improve in that area over the next 3 weeks? Rush defense liability. I don't even know if I would call it a liability. Just rush defense accountability maybe over the next 3 weeks. Something to think about. Here's another interesting thing to think about. Utah has dominated teams in quarters 1 through 3.
Yeah.
Score. In fourth quarter, they win the fourth quarter, but it's just like a 10-point differential over the course of the whole season. And so finishing in the fourth quarter. In the games they've won, it's been no question.
Maybe and that's inflated the numbers a little bit because they're so far ahead to give up a couple of gimme points there in the fourth quarter.
It could be. But But that's where they've also lost. And the two losses have come.
That's
Utah
true.
was down by 3 in the fourth quarter against Texas Tech and lost big. So fourth quarter productivity, defensive productivity, I think has to be something to think about.
This is a defense that certainly has got some star power, but unlike BYU, they're relatively healthy. And having I think you want to keep rolling in terms of the momentum that you've built over these last 2 games, but you also look at the fact that you get Devon Dampier a little bit more healthy. You get those guys a little bit more healthy because, Hans, as you pointed out, Utah, when Devon Dampier is healthy, looks pretty damn good.
Well, they've expressed that in the 2 losses, Texas Tech and BYU, that he was injured throughout Texas Tech and then re-injured it in the second quarter against BYU, and it just slowed him up. When he's healthy, you see a different level of performance because he has to, and I talked about this going into the Cincinnati game, if he's not healthy enough to run the full playbook, then you can't play him. If he's healthy enough to run the full playbook, then you put him in against Cincinnati and, you beat Cincinnati 45-14 and your numbers look like this. Dampier, 220 yards passing, 2 touchdowns through the air. Devon Dampier, 14 carries for 80 yards. That's your numbers when Dampier's healthy.
Yeah. Do you think the threat of, maybe there wasn't, maybe it was manufactured on the outside, but do you think the threat of Ficklin starting against Cincinnati was meaningful to Dampier in his preparation during the week?
I mean, you would probably speak better to this than I would, but I would think absolutely yes.
I would think so too.
Yeah, like if you go like, hey, that guy played pretty well. And
pretty good.
you know what, are you sure you're healthy? Yes, I am healthy.
Oh.
I'm ready to go.
I'm healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doing up downs, jumping jacks, all of it. Look at how healthy I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at me. The nice thing I think Coach Beck has done is continue to get Ficklin reps during these games. You just never know. And especially with a guy like Dampier who's going to put his body at risk, then you need a guy like Ficklin to be ready to go. And there's a good chance in one of these last 3 that Ficklin's going to see some meaningful minutes.
That was the other point I was going to make about Jason Beck having Ficklin ready when Ficklin needed to go. I think we could safely say that over the past 2 seasons, not having a second-string quarterback ready was detrimental to that coordinator's progress and standing. Got to have a second guy ready. Because very rarely does the first guy make it through all 12. Got to have the second guy ready. When Ficklin stepped in against Colorado, he looked ready. And he burnt the crap out of Colorado. That's why going into Cincinnati was like, if you can't get all the playbook out of Dampier, then go with Ficklin.
And it would have been very easy because Jason Beck and Devon Dampier, they were a package deal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his guy. So I could very easily see him putting all the eggs in that basket, all the reps, all the attention towards him, and neglecting some of your other quarterback room. But to have Ficklin involved and ready to go and right up to speed where you didn't really drop much production at all with Byrd Ficklin, that shows you a lot. Yeah,
it's money, and it does give you hope that if there's problems, Ficklin's always there. That's a really nice insurance policy to have.
I'm curious to see how Ficklin continues to develop because I think he's a more classic thrower of the football, and to see how that translates into reps.
You think Ficklin is a more classic thrower with his left hand?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Did you hear that?
You're the quarterback.
I mean, I think he has a slow release, but the way that he throws the ball feels better when he's throwing it downfield.
His throwing motion feels like Tyler Huntley to me. Would I be way off on that?
No, but I think
because Tyler had such athleticism. He just had a zip off the finger, off the run.
Yeah. I think that Ficklin is still young in developing his throwing motion. Like, to me, it's a little slow. His throwing motion is a little slow, and that will develop. It should develop.
So there's this talk in the basketball world where you get to a certain age and your shot is your shot. Like you can't fix the mechanics.
Yeah.
Is there a point for quarterbacks in that regard?
Yeah,
where
I mean, yeah, for sure. That's developed. Like at this point, to say it's not like Tiger Woods says, "Hey, I'm going to take the offseason and change my swing."
Yeah.
You can tweak it for sure. You can tweak it, but your throwing motion is your throwing motion. Look
Yeah.
at Travis Wilson. Yikes! Like that throwing motion. What was that? Anyway, Ficklin he can develop. He can improve on some of the mechanics, but on some of the other stuff like speed of release.
Okay.
You could develop that. But then there's just different guys like Dan Marino. No one's going to compete on the speed of his release. Like that was just a thing that he could do.
By the way, my kid was watching some old games on YouTube.
What kind of old games? Football?
He
College?
saw football, and
College
he
football.
saw this guy named Bernie Kosar. He's like, this guy was a quarterback?
You mean the Kent DeColvey of football?
I forgot how bad that throwing motion was. Oh my
It
gosh.
was almost underhand.
Yeah.
But here's where Bernie Kosar. This is Bernie Kosar. This is probably some Dan Marino. This is Peyton Manning. Probably some Tom Brady. Who are the other greats that you could put in that? I don't know that I would put Aaron Rodgers. Maybe I would put Aaron Rodgers in this. Like mentally, they were better than head and shoulders better than everybody else. Joe Montana, I would put in that category. Peyton Manning won 2 Super Bowls without ever throwing a spiral.
Yeah, there's some wobbles out there.
Legitimately.
Yeah.
He had the worst release. It was just terrible. Do you remember Brian Greasy?
Oh, yeah.
Brian Greasy, if you could have put, like, Brian Greasy, his throwing motion, his mechanics, the way the ball came off of his hand, he never threw a wobbly pass. Like,
No.
it was amazing watching him throw the ball. It was like, there's no way this guy can't be successful. But he didn't have what or Peyton Manning had above the shoulders.
You know, Jeff George threw a beautiful football,
He did.
but there was nothing upstairs.
He did.
Will was spinning, but the hamster was dead.
I would almost put Terry Bradshaw in that. Terry Bradshaw threw an amazing pass, and he had his that finger cocked all the way back.
Yep.
I don't know how he did that, but he threw an amazing pass. I would almost put him in the category like he didn't have a bunch upstairs. I think he was better than we think upstairs because, I just think he was better than we think. He just didn't come across that way. But I would almost put him in that category. He was surrounded by talent.
Yeah, a lot of gold jackets on those teams.
Wow.
All right, Hans and Scotty
Yeah.
will wrap up this bad boy next. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. The Aggies return home to Logan for a battle against the Nevada Wolfpack. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, Frank, Utah on the bye week.
Yeah. Yes.
This is usually where we give our predictions. I'd say Utah probably picks up a win this week against the bye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There we go.
They're going to scrimmage on Saturday. Red and white revisited. Something like that.
When you were a player, it was bye week. Did you try to just eliminate all football from your mind for a day?
No.
You were
dialed in, locked in.
I like it. I don't believe
improving.
you, but that's all right.
Always improving. You know what? If I would have had the mindset at 18, 19, 20 that I thought was pretty good that I had today about, preparation, golly, what could you have accomplished?
Youth is wasted on the young.
Oh, isn't it so
Yeah,
true?
yeah.
Who said that? Yogi Bear?
I can't remember. All right, that wraps it up for us. JJ and Alex coming up next. Hands, we'll talk tomorrow. Alema Harrington, Ron McBride, A Football Friday.
Hey, are you guys good? Do you need some help?
I keep looking at my phone and hoping I don't see an alert from Delta popping up here. That's for sure.
You're flying out tonight?
I'm flying out tonight. In fact, just here in about an hour and a half.
Over under on the government shutdown ending. Like what are we doing?
Well, I'm going to go
thoughts on that.
go under.
Yeah.
Should we extend this?
What are we
No.
doing? Yeah.
Should we do a podcast?
Yes. We'll
Yeah.
do a government shutdown podcast.
Hands, Scotty, and Frank on politics. Coming up next.
I'm sure people would tune in.
Hands and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.